stuff, you can't get exposed to.
Everybody's background is discrimination.
The way to do that is travel, immerse yourself in that different type of culture.
Yeah.
Someone based off their complexion, their skin tone, their culture, their...
You guys still believe racism exists, and why?
I do.
Yes.
It's in the... This is American.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I believe racism exists, mainly because
Because it does.
Yes, I do believe that racism definitely still exists.
I think racism is real, obviously.
I think that it does still exist.
I do definitely think it still exists.
Like, even if they're not trying to be racist, they kind of are, like, with some, like, racial, like, jokes and stuff.
Ignorance.
Exactly. Yeah, like, they'll be like, oh, they're all, like, they're all
Yeah, I
Chinese,
hate-
they're all blah, blah, blah. But, like, it just exists, and, like, even if people aren't trying to be, but, like, some people are, and, like, they directly, like, show discrimination towards people of, like, whatever race or religion, and they'll have, like, racial slurs and stuff. Like, one time, my brother and I, we were driving, and this white man, he kept following us, like, in the car. He kept following us, like, everywhere, and,
Oh my god, the stalking guy.
yeah, and, like,
The stalker.
we rolled down the windows, and, he kept, like, saying, like, racial slurs to us. He thought we were Hispanic, so he kept calling us, like,
Wow.
you know, the S word, and, like, all that, and then, like,
Dang.
my brother's like, he's dumb, and he's like, we're Arab, like, we're from Morocco, and then he proceeded to call us a sand N-word, and, like, it was just disgusting, and, like, people, like, they obviously show hatred for anyone just because they're of different races. Like,
Thank you for
definitely still here,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's still there.
Yeah, it's
It really
like,
is.
especially like you a Muslim, like when you wear hijab, people are just like, my god, this lady gonna
yeah,
bomb you.
yeah,
Like,
exactly,
horrible.
yeah,
exactly.
it's really horrible. Like when I go outside, like there was a lady. She is like, "Where are you from?" I say, "I'm from Vietnam." I was like, "Oh, like you eat dog or something?" I was like, "Why don't you ask me a different question? Why you ask me about like where am I?" Like
Exactly.
maybe I was born in America, but like they try to ask me like where am I originally from? I was like, I was born here, but it's just like you are Asian, but your English is so good. I was like, but what? It's okay.
I think that although people try to be open about it, by being open about it and talking about it so much, they still create that room for it to exist. And I think that although like people try to seem very liberal, they still do create like a divide and a split. And not saying that it should never be acknowledged, but as we progress through time, things kind of become forgotten when they go away. And not that like, again, like not that we shouldn't express it, but more just like the people that continue to bring it up is a main reason why there's still kind of a split in society and still that divide there, because it creates room for people that are really conservative and who still are racist towards everyone to do that and like have the room to do that. And once we like stop talking about it, we stop creating that room, and then they seem like the minorities, the people that still are racist.
Because I've experienced it. I'm from Puerto Rico. And growing up, I had the bad experience of people saying, "You live in America, speak English." Yeah, I had that.
right, yeah,
I had that. So yeah, I think it definitely still exists in more subtle ways. And then there's the more, I don't think I ever told you, but someone actually threw water at my aunt at the subway one day because they were talking in Spanish among their co-workers. So yes, there's the more overt, but I think mostly it's more subtle ways. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just going to agree that it definitely does exist, I think. I've seen it in all different directions. You know what I mean? I mean, it doesn't matter what color, what race, what nationality. I've seen it go, I mean, my whole life. But still, like, I know to your point is now. But yeah, I definitely still see it now, unfortunately, even on college campuses, you know, an open-minded, you know, liberal place like this, you still see it.
I feel like racism is more of an idea than like a physical like entity. It's more like a psychological thing. Like people, you can't really control how people are gonna feel. People are gonna have to feel like their own way. And like even though like we can control like the people around us. We can't control what people like away from our inner circle, what the people around them might be into. You know, so I mean, I don't really experience racism that much, like in my life, like not to my face, not to like where it's obvious. But I'm pretty sure like it's still out there. It's a topic of discussion right now, so it still does exist.
The reason being is because you still see it and experience it a lot today, with the differences that are, you know, very apparent in media and, you know, displayed in our day-to-day activities in life.
I do believe that racism exists, just because I've experienced it myself. Sometimes I feel like people get treated differently than me for like just random things like maybe hair or language and things of that nature. So in that sense and in the political sense too, racism does exist.
Yes, because it's already part of, like, it's already embedded in people's head. Like, whenever you go out somewhere, you might have just a little thought in the back of your head, like, oh, you know, it's just already been established, and it's like, I'm sure, like, people don't try to, but it's like, what's it called? What's the word when you're yeah, or not even that. It's like
Yeah.
What's the word when not naive? It's when you're
ignorant.
Well,
it's more
and then certain places.
It goes
in the
into
United States still have
xenophobia.
it,
It goes into like xenophobia, the basic fear of not understanding someone based off their complexion, their skin tone, their culture, their language, whatever it be. It's literally just a fear of what is foreign, or you have this picture idea of what a race is supposed to be. It's like this mental division, because technically race is not real. Like, it's real in the sense that you have a skin tone and a culture, but genetically speaking, a black person is not super genetically different than an Asian person. I mean, there are tiny differences here and there, but for the most part, we're the same species. In fact, we have less genetic diversity than chimps. I mean, that's not a joke, that's a fact. You can look that up. So the point is, why is there still racism? Because people suck, and people hate people because they're different, and you can't control that, and it's literally centuries and generations of just being taught the wrong stuff, and it's a lot of unlearning to do.
I do believe racism still exists because you see us go out in the world and, like, you just see discrimination against everybody, you know, like police, your peers, you know, they can have thoughts about you just because of your skin or where you come from, you know, and I definitely feel like it does exist, you know, and it's just, there's no way to explain it. It's just.
I think racism does exist, and in the sense of, like, everybody just has this, like, idea of what people are, and it's just the first thing that, like, they identify you with is, oh, she's Hispanic, she's black, she's white. We all have this idea of, like, a color.
What peace model would you personally use to end racism?
Like with certain words, I think that if you cannot be offended by it, then you should not be saying it. That's something that I learned from someone freshman year, because middle school I was very arrogant and ignorant to the situation, and he kind of told me, Justin Banson, he was like, listen, if you can't be like offended by the word, then just don't have it in your vocabulary. It shouldn't be something that you say, and I live by that statement. I think that in general, with not only like racism but every other like slur that there is and stuff like that, I think that if I can't personally be like, wow, that affected me and the history of me and who I am as a person, my family, my bloodline, then who am I to be saying that word?
That was so good.
How to change racism? I don't have that answer.
I think it's just like,
it's a collective thing.
Yeah, like everyone really needs to be
work
as
together,
more progressive as possible.
People need to unify.
Yeah, like anyone can really be racist. Like, it's not only like the minority against like the white. It's just like everyone is against each other at this point. So that's what's like, I don't see it changing because no one is like actually wanting to start something and take action, and especially when there's so much other crazy stuff going on in the world. It's just like, how are we gonna have people focus on this one thing so they can keep talking about it? Like,
it has like climate change, like it only gets popular when there's some random person like talking about climate change and like saying something that's innovative. So like it's just like having to keep up with how the news is. It's like playing a game. It's not only like trying to get people's attention, it's trying to get like the media, business, everything, because money has to be involved on everything.
And then I think a way to like change it would be to have empathy, because I was literally just talking to I think you about it, that it was like that racism, like if people had empathy, then they wouldn't do things like that, because then they would know what it felt like. I don't know.
Yeah, love that.
But I think if we find a common ground, that can like start chipping away at, you know, trying to help the problem. But you know, we're humans, so I have a feeling that we're not the best at it. So you know, all we could do is try. Hopefully, the right people can, and enough of the right people can get together and, you know, help fix the problem a little bit.
But as far as steps to be taken to remedy that, I just think, I don't know, I mean, open-mindedness is important. People just need to be, I think, you know, because I know we have, because I work for UCF, she works for Valencia.
Okay.
And I know that we have the Office of Diversity and Inclusion on our main campus. They come out here and do workshops all the time, talking about, you know, racism and how to combat things like that, racism in the workplace, racism in the classroom, things like that. And they can be very helpful. So I think people just need to get a little bit more involved in things like that. I think that would help.
I think the best way to minimize that would be to just have conversations with each other, and you know, see maybe some kind of program or something to just tell the community, hey, you got to be open-minded about it. You got to understand where people are from. That's really where things you know happen.
It's hard. That's the thing that comes with age more, because older white men tend to be more racist than most of the young generations being incorporated into multicultural societies.
I think we need like a I don't know, like a Mexican president or an Asian president.
I don't know. I mean, like once it's like in there, in the person, it's kind of like there. Because it's a belief, you know, racism is a belief. It's not like it's a disorder or anything. You can't excuse it. It's not excusable. Racism is like, I'm not going to say the F word, but you're a pretty messed up person if you're racist. But if you were like raised that way, then that's understandable, and you can sway people who have been swayed. You can re-sway, cancel it.
I'm not really sure, but I know for the jobs and stuff like that, I feel like, you know, when you check off like if you're black and whatever, I feel like that should just be gone, and then because that shouldn't say if somebody can work or not. So I don't see why it's there. Like to identify yourself, yeah, but just not for jobs.
I think they should be educated more.
Yeah, that's my answer. Yeah.
Like Americans, they think they're a standard of the word.
Don't watch Fox News because they're racist. It's like the first step, because when you know more about like different cultures or like different like religions, and even if you like put yourself in that like community and like put in the effort to learn about it, you have a respect for these people. Because even though it might be like different, like you have no reason to be like against it. It's just different. It's not what you're used to, but you just need to respect people. And like if you don't like it for whatever reason, just mind your business and don't interfere with their lives, because they're not trying to bother you.